For today's video, I'm reviewing and trying on the latest pieces from Sezane. I am working with them monthly, which is amazing because every single time that I release a Sezane video, I'm already getting requests for more. You guys absolutely love them, and actually some people that you live with think that the presents that arrive to your door are actually from a lover because it says your name, it says I love you in this beautiful French language, and the whole opening experience is amazing. And then once you find these beautiful pieces inside, the level of detail is so exquisite, and then every single month it seems like they're releasing thicker materials for this time of year, and so it's always a surprise whatever they're going to release next. So for today, I'm reviewing the top 20 for this month's collection, and let's get started. I'm gonna have everything linked down below in the comments section and description box, so it'll be really easy to follow along. But this first one is this ivory sweater that has tons of eyelet details all over it. It's got a very narrow scalloped collar, which is so beautiful, and then the sleeves balloon out and then draw and taper in to this beautiful narrow wrist area, cuff, and it is just one of those pieces that I believe is an essential layering piece. It's beautiful as a sweater to keep you warm, and when you take off your jacket, it's gonna also be this statement piece. But it's so lovely when you've got your jacket on and you've got all of these details even all the way up to the neckline. For some reason, I'm really drawn to how this neckline moves close to the neck. It just feels like it's not overbearingly tight or constricting, but yet it is so delicate and just lays very nicely. So I definitely want to recommend this one. I believe it's called the Laia, but I don't know if it's pronounced Leah. So if you are French, please let me know how you pronounce that down below. This coat is the first outerwear piece of the month that I wanted to feature because it has a very minimal design. It's a thicker coat with the material, but it is not lined. It's not anything that is too cumbersome. And because it has this beautiful belt along it, it's going to cinch really nicely if you want to keep the belt in the back. It just sort of makes the rest of the material be very narrow and straight up and down. So that's a very lengthening appearance for something that's an oversized coat. The material is really soft, and I also appreciated that around the collar it seems to be more of a minimal design here because there might be a little bit more bulk in the sleeves, but all of this around your face is not going to be too cumbersome there, and then it's just going to cascade down, and yet they still put all of that detail in the button here along the cuffs, and then they also have small buttons on the back to keep the belt in place. The next piece I tried was the Phoebe shirt. Now, if you are one of those people who just loves things that are a little bit on the Regency side, or even something that's a little bit on the preppy side, honestly, this is a very lovely feminine top because of that collar. I also really appreciated the fact that the buttons here are more minimal and dainty. It's a little bit of a like quaint shirt in the way that you think of something historic, you know. This feels like something that you would find maybe in your great-grandmother's chest of clothes, and you just find it and discover it and want to bring it back to new life. That seems like how they were inspired by this piece, in my opinion. And I also really appreciate wearing colors like this time of year because as you're moving into wearing more jackets, having that lace detail there is amazing. I also like the fact that this is a very thin shirt, but it still has that like plaid that you see on a lot of flannel shirts. But the material is not flannel, it's a little bit more like a thin cotton shirt, so it's very comfortable to wear. Next is this beautiful Miriam top. It is so lovely with the lace around the collar, just like if you liked lace before, you're gonna love this one. But what's also unique about this is that this sweater is mohair and it has lots of these eyelet details in it. So you might wanna layer with it, but another way that you can wear this is reversible. I think that's an amazing idea because here you're not getting any of those eyelets, and so you could easily wear it without a bra or anything constricting, and then just have all that beautiful, sexy, flirty details on the back with the eyelets and the lace, and having that open back design is so wonderful. By the way, this is a navy, which I prefer this time of year. Anytime like summer, late summer through all of fall, I just love navy, and I've been really really embracing and leaning into that as my color palette. For a little bit of color, this is a long-sleeved blouse. I love that it has those very lovely maroon and pink and purple details here that are complemented with the green leaves. The leaves have a little bit of an autumnal color to them as well, so that's unique as well. All of it's embroidered, and then you've got those ladder designs along here to show that even though this is a bulky, puffy sleeve, which is amazing, it also exposes your arm a little bit, and so I think that that's flattering as well. It's a very feminine top, and you can style it with things that maybe aren't so feminine on top, like something that's maybe a little bit more of a tomboy or like a devil-may-care appearance. Something with an edge to it might be really unique on top of this, or even just a standard trench would be lovely. There's so many ways that you could style this, and you can also dress it down with some jeans, or you could just dress it up with like a skirt. There's just a lot of possibilities that I can see with this top, and yet it's a statement piece too. So that's really unique because a lot of statement tops don't normally go with a lot of pieces in your wardrobe, so I could see this being a staple for a long time. Next is the Simon jumper. This is for someone who wants one of those tighter fitting, contouring sweaters. I also like the fact that it has a horizontal thin stripe. I think that whenever you're going to wear a horizontal, the thin stripe is going to be very flattering. And then also because the stripes don't start until the chest, then your shoulders don't really get blown out of proportion with stripes. You've got that to be very lean and sophisticated. And then along the collar here, you've got a big ribbed collar. So that's going to be almost like a mock neck, but kind of still a crew, I would say. And then of course, because it's Sezane, they added these very adorable buttons along here on the cuff, and that's just going to keep things very chic and sophisticated, and you can open them. That's not a fake button. You can actually open those up a little bit and pull the sleeves up if you want to. Just another way that you can style this. You all know I love this color on my skin tone, so I had to try it. This is the Willow jumper, and the first thing I want to point out is how it closes in the back. So this is going to be one of those tighter collars, and then if you were to wear your hair up or if you have shorter hair, then this is going to be a very statement, lovely piece that is unexpected as a detail for those who are seeing you. And it has these tonal buttons here, 3 of them, so it's not that hard to enclose yourself because the little loops are elastic, so that's pretty easy. But again, I just love this color because it's a little bit on the gold side. I love pairing it with my gold rings. I just feel like the whole thing is a total look. And then they did not go sparse on all of the details here. It has a fancy knit, and the sleeves are a little bit puffed because of how they've cinched the fabric there. And then halfway down the sleeve, you've got this beautiful like contoured look here, so you can scrunch up the sleeves a little bit, create more of a puff sleeve appearance there if you want to, or you could just let that drop. For the next outerwear piece, this is the Johnson coat. It is like a signature coat in their line. Speaking of their line, it is lined inside, so it's not something that's going to feel too warm on you. It is going to be a little bit cooler, and it will glide with other fabrics that you wear underneath. It is double-breasted, and I also love that the pockets are piped, so there's just that, you know, excellent level of detail there. And then in the back, it does have a slit there, so once you decide to keep it, you can open that up, and that's a beautiful detail. So I think that when I'm wearing this, it just feels a little bit on the equestrian side to me. It feels very royal and regal. I just think that it is so well done. It's got one of those just standard cuts, so it's not anything that will go out of season at all, and overall, I would love to keep this so much. In last month's Sezane video, I showed you the ivy green version of this shirt. This is all on its own though, because of that eyelet detail along here. It's got this like square pattern almost, but it's encompassed with circles, and it seems crocheted to me, and the detail of this is one of those things where you feel the fabric and it feels a lot thicker than the lace details that they usually use in the spring and summertime. So that's another way that this is a lovely piece. I like to style it under those coats, and it's going to be one of those items that just takes your breath away when you're wearing it and you see all of this beautiful detail here, and you can keep that collar open or closed. It looks great both ways. You can style this with either a cami underneath, or you could experiment with different bras or even nippies. Next, this navy jumper is actually a cardigan. You can wear it, buttoned up to the tops for a standard sweater, or you could have that open and layer with something else underneath. But what is unique about this is that it has very thick braids along here, and I find that to be such a unique detail, something that adds a little bit more structure if you're looking for structure around your shoulders, and then it has a little bit of a puff sleeve there too. So this is one of those shirts that I believe is going to really look great if you're trying to build out that area of your unique silhouette very sophisticatedly. And I also really like the fact that the sleeves then, they're not like too structured, they are very soft around here, they billow out, and then they come to that point again like the ones earlier that I showed. This is a mohair sweater, so it's not itchy, and I really appreciate that it is a thicker sweater. And there is a little bit of a sheerness to it, so if you do wear it alone, that's fine. It still has a little bit of that date night look that I think would be so great as well. So I usually like to bundle up and dress with a lot of layers when it comes to fall and winter, but there are still plenty of people who ask me for warm weather options for fall, because you too like all of those wonderful fall fabrics and cuts, but obviously if it's too warm, then you want to dress where it's practical. So having a denim dress like this is a wonderful idea. I like to wear tops that are like this time of year, where they're denim and they've got lots of ruffles and all of that, but this is a dress option that is so lovely. It's cut just around above the knees, and it has a little bit of a cinching here, so it creates this illusion of it being like something that is a little bit hourglass but still very open and draped. So I actually, for my proportions, like to have a thick belt just above that, and just kind of to bring in that waistline a little bit. Other than that, I would say that it is one of those timeless pieces that you can style well into springtime too. It's going to be absolutely lovely to wear then if it's not too warm, moving into summer and all of that. So yeah, one of those classic pieces that I believe still has plenty of detail to it. It's not a basic, but it is one of those core pieces. If you followed this channel for long, you'll probably recognize this Eduardo jumper. It is something that I really cherished, and so I went ahead and bought another one because this one's in an extra small. So I'm going to retire the one that I had so that I can get one that has the perfect fit. I loved this so much because the collar is removable this time. It was as well last time. It just is a little bit different than the one before that had that beautiful ornate collar. This is something that you can remove and just have it as a basic sweater, very thin and easy to style with. And then of course having that collar is going to be a lovely way where you can dress up this look. I also think that it is a good idea to have it removable because you can take care of the collar itself and keep it white and fresh, which is super important when it's this close to your neck. And in the back, it does have this little opening again, and then the little two buttons right there that are going to keep everything closed, and everything along here is fastened by buttons. And so yeah, it's one of those pieces that I believe has been a classic in my wardrobe, and I couldn't recommend it enough for you as well. Okay, this is called the Betty cardigan. It's actually more of a shirt jacket, like a shacket. What I really appreciate about this is that I have been wearing it out and about. I love to wear it like walking in the park, and it looks very preppy and sophisticated that way. It's got these tortoiseshell buttons that are prominent, and it also has a lot of detail along the collar, a lot of just extra stitching everywhere on the pockets and on the cuffs here. So that is a lovely look. I like the tight weave, and for some reason this knit seems to be something that just is very nostalgic and familiar to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but for fall, this is what I like to wear because it's tightly woven, but still doesn't feel too sweltering or too warm or anything like that. So it is one of those that you can just wear as a shirt on its own with jeans, or you could leave it open. I've actually worn it with like a cropped tank underneath, which was a really unique look if it's not too cold where you live. And so yeah, I just had to feature it. I couldn't believe that I didn't show it last month, but I really wanted to feature it this time. This next sweater I absolutely adore. I adore it because it's actually made of cotton. So while it is a thicker material, it is very lightweight. Cotton sweaters are something that I wear like spring, even into cool summer nights. So it's not one of those fabrics that are going to keep you extremely warm like any of the wool options, but it is one of those pieces that is going to be so lovely when you just want to wear it to a nice evening out. That's where I wore it. I wore it out with friends, and I wore it with the matching skirt. And that was a really unique look. If you have a size that's still available in the skirt, then check that link out down below, because I just feel like the ensemble together is a beautiful look. And of course you can wear this on its own because it has these beautiful gold, almost hammered detailed buttons here that have some weight to them, and you can wear that open if you like, but I just like the look of it enclosed as well, because this is actually a raglan design here with the sleeves on both the front and the back. So it's got a very soft shoulder, and then it cascades down, and I like to just roll those sleeves up a little bit and cinch them to make it feel a little bit more lived in. Last month I showed you the zig jacket that was in suede. It's really a moto jacket that Sezane is known for, and so I had to try it in the black leather as well because it was such a home run. I just loved it. I appreciated that they create little designs like this where it looks like a vest in the back, and that's a very flattering design when you're wearing it, and it just feels like you're feminine, but you've got this edge to it that I just love with these very slim and petite fitting leather jackets that are a must for every wardrobe. I feel like they can add something to your style and make you feel just capable of anything when you're wearing a moto jacket. I personally love to style these leather moto jackets with something that's very feminine, so you're balancing the masculine and feminine together to create a very unique look that fits you just right and feels true to you. So I like to add a blouse that has those ruffle details underneath it, just to add that level of complementary detail to the look. A wonderful feminine blouse that I couldn't recommend enough for matching with that leather jacket is this one. I believe it's called the Rosalinda blouse, off the top of my head. It's got all of these lovely pleats, but it also has a polka dot design. I believe that polka dot is a pattern that a lot of people overlook when it comes to building your wardrobe, because a polka dot pattern is going to be one of those timeless prints, but I also really believe that it adds a little bit more fun to your wardrobe that I believe that a lot of wardrobes are missing. Like, don't just stop at stripes, but you can also add something like this, and it creates a whole different visual appeal to your look. I also love the fact that this is going to enclose in the back with that button, but it's going to have that beautiful ruffle detail here. So another lovely piece for this time of year when you are styling with extra layering pieces, you can always have all of this detail as a statement underneath. I have to say that I personally am so drawn to black lacy sweaters and shirts. I feel like they are so grown up, and they feel not too flirty, but actually somebody who takes themselves incredibly seriously and feels beautiful. I just think that it's one of those classic, sophisticated pieces, and so I tried this cardigan. It has all of the crochet details that is very lacy along the collar and along this placket at the beginning, and then it also has a bunch of open work detail along here, so it is something that you can wear as a sheer top, but it also isn't going to expose you too much. So it depends how you want to layer with it and work with it. It is a cardigan after all, so you could still wear it open if you want to and style it that way. It's got the balloon sleeve again, as we've seen in some of these other pieces, and then of course they cinch it at the cuff with more open work details down here. So this is a blend of, I believe, wool and kid mohair, which makes it so soft and comfortable to wear. Next is this sailor inspired shirt, but it is so feminine with all of this beautiful detail here. Again, like I said a bit previously, when you are styling for fall and wearing extra layers, this part is the most important, and so we can really see that working there. And because it's organic cotton, it's going to feel incredibly great on your skin and grow softer with time, but it's also not going to be too warm. So if you need these lighter pieces to layer with, this is a lovely option. So it is a balance of masculine, taking something that's a bit more masculine as a sailor-inspired shirt and moving it more feminine, and then it's more contoured as well. And then with this ivory, I think that it's a beautiful detail for, you know, this time of year where personally I'm getting a little bit more pale, I'm losing my tan, and so it's nice to have something that's not a true white against my face. Okay, this is totally different than any of the other tops I've shown previously. This is all fun and color. I believe that this is a lovely top to wear right around golden hour. I think that if you're going to have a lovely dinner out with friends, this could be a great piece to work with. It is incredibly light. The Piero shirt is their signature top, and I have had it in different patterns. I think that it's lovely because it is so lightweight, and they always do a great job on the classic cut and the buttons. But overall, the patterns that they work with are where they explore the most. And you can definitely tell this because it's like 60s or 70s inspired. And as somebody who drives a Volkswagen Beetle, I am not upset with this at all, and I'm definitely going to be styling it with different jackets that I think are going to move it more in that retro vintage inspired look. I had to add one chambray shirt because it's fall. It's a lot like that dress I showed earlier that was denim, but a lot of people don't know the difference between chambray and denim. It's really a much more luxury fabric because it is thinner and more tightly woven. You could wear it to things that where denim isn't quite appropriate than chambray can be. And I believe chambray is an older fabric than the denim is. So some fun facts for you. But of course, because it's Sezane, they're adding all of these beautiful details here, which make it lacy. And I believe that the lace details move it a bit away from Western, a little bit more bohemian and feminine. So those are ways where you can sort of imagine how you want to style it. And from there, you can also move it into areas that are even more menswear inspired if you want to wear it with a great trouser or an awesome jacket. And that's it for this month's Sezane review. Don't forget to subscribe so you see the next one, and I'll also link you to the last Sezane video I did in case you want to see what's still available from those selections. And with that, thank you Sezane for sponsoring this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.